Welcome back to Nerdyjock Media presents Dragon Ball Daima Reaction Podcast, where every week we're watching Dragon Ball Daima. We're coming here and we're talking to you, recording our immediate reactions. This is Kevin Ketcham, aka the Nerdyjock.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. How are you, DK? This is also DK, my co-host on the show, also known as the DB Guru.
Thank you so much. I'm doing all right. I'm doing better than last week for sure.
Okay.
For our fans who knew, last week I was 36 hours into a fast, and I got a lot of comments on how grumpy I was.
Yeah, he did not have the energy to bring it for, especially the best episode we've seen so far on Dragon Ball Daima, right?
In terms of animation, yes, 100%.
Plot-wise, who knows? But let's be real. Plot on this show has always been kind of sketch, right?
Yeah, we were giving it a lot of leeway in the early episodes, and now as it's gone forward, I think we're both feeling plot fatigue. Because there's a lot of filler. Yeah. I mean, everything that has been accomplished could have been accomplished with less time for sure.
I mean, we are on episode 9, Thieves, right? Name of the title. Last week we had Tamagami, which was a banger of an episode. One of my all-time favorites well, it is my all-time favorite of Daima so far. It's not even all-time. It's just been out for 2 weeks. But either way, we're back on this. We're treading familiar territory once again, right? In this episode.
Well, I did say last week, the preview showed that we go to another inn and we have another fight, which is what happened. I mean, it was fine. I mean, Thieves stole the Dragon Ball. They had to go get the Dragon Ball back.
Very common.
Yeah. So kind of just reset to zero again. Yeah. But then Vegeta, Bulma, and Piccolo
show up.
Got their plane stolen. By the way, spoilers in case you haven't realized yet. If you want to be spoiler free, go watch episode 9 Thieves of Dragon Ball Daima. Come right back here and then we'll tell you our reaction. But yeah, so they got their plane stolen, so now everybody has to go and pick them up.
Right.
They go to tell them that they can't pick them up, and then they leave. Yes. And then there's another fight.
That was the nuttiest moment of the show. I mean, they had a pretty, in my mind, mediocre opening segment where they were like let me just backtrack a second.
Yeah, please.
We kind of already wasted a whole segment of the show. Let's be real. This whole episode was only really building up for the last minute and a half with Arinsu, the witch, and spoiler alert, Majin Kuu.
Right.
But if we go back, we saw Goku is protecting the Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball gets stolen, hence the title Thieves. They're at another hotel, which we should just call the show Hotel Hoppers, or like it's a travel show.
We were joking as we were watching that this is like the travel channel in the Daima world of the Dragon Ball people.
Are they ever going to find a nice hotel where they can stay safely through the night? I don't know.
I will say for this hotel, this was the nicest of the hotels they stayed at.
It did look really nice. I actually enjoyed this one. The first one looked kind of like a slum or like a dungeon from Tatooine. And this one definitely looked a little more, I'd say a 3 or 4 star hotel.
It had the best food too. I mean, we've seen the little like demon takoyakis with the mouths that Goku loves. But this place, I mean, we had
crab claws, my favorite rice cakes, sake or soju, as we saw.
Yeah. Glorio was slamming the shoju.
Or Gorilio, whatever you want to call them. No.
Yeah, Gorilio. They had it looked like Euro wraps, like falafel or like lamb meat or something like that. Like it looked pretty damn good. So this was a good hotel.
Yeah, it was a good hotel. So sorry to take you off that. You were actually right in the middle of breaking down some plot points here that were kind of important for the episode.
Well, we could summarize it very quickly like this. If the episode was 22 minutes long, 20 minutes of it was filler and pointless stuff, and then the last 2 minutes we got a little bit advancement of the plot. We finally met Majin Kuu. We finally see what Arinsu's plan is, and the plan is to have Majin Kuu, who is an amalgamation of the original Buu formula with a Cyberman, and he's gonna go defeat the Tamagamis and get the Dragon Balls before Goku and Gang do, which will probably be easy because everyone's taking their sweet time getting to those other Tamagamis.
Yeah, so that's what we're realizing now, that Arinsu and Glorio's plot, I mean, we kind of already knew it had to involve the Dragon Balls, but it really has less to do with Gomah and more just the Dragon Balls. For whatever the plan is, I think he's completely irrelevant to the plot as far as their master plan, which we still don't really know what they want to do. Maybe they want to open up all 3 demon realms together or unleash unleash make a new universe. We don't know. The sky's the limit for
we have 4 potential malevolent plans in the show. And this is what's interesting to me is I want to see how it's paid off, because we have Arinsu's plan, which we don't know.
We don't know.
But we know
that's one.
It's the furthest in motion because Glorio is traveling with the crew and she has created Majin Kuu. I didn't mean to rhyme. It happened. We're leaving it in.
Yep.
And then we have Gomah's plan, which we don't know, but it involves something called the third eye, which is the wish that he didn't get. But then potentially we have Degasu's plan. Degasu is Kaioshin's older brother. He's hanging out with Gomah, and he asked Gomah if he could have the third Shenron wish because Gomah just didn't have one. And he might have his own little plot going too. And I think maybe you and I are on the same page of this, that maybe Glorio has his own plan as well, outside of Arinsu's thing. Like, he's got a sick little sister. He's just playing everybody against the middle. So
we know there's they're trying, as far as the Dragon Ball plot goes, they're juggling a lot of little threads here. And of course, there's the Dragon Balls needed for our guys, our crew to go back to normal, full-grown adult characters in Dragon Ball. But I'd say, overall, though, when we already summarized the plot, but in a moment, it was funny because Vegeta, you mentioned it earlier, Vegeta and Bulma, Piccolo, and whatever his name is, that weird demon-looking dude, Hibisi, whatever. What's his name?
Hibis.
Hibis, sorry. Hibis. They get their plane stolen, which is the same exact thing that happened to Goku and Kai and Glorio.
It's the same stuff over and over again.
Couldn't they just make something else and just take a moment to animate a different scenario? It's not hard. It doesn't have to be anything extra. It could just be something different.
It's hard.
I don't understand this.
It's heartbreaking criticizing the show's writing because you know that it was written by Toriyama, who unfortunately is dead. This is the last thing that he wrote, and he's, in terms of writers, he's one of my heroes.
Yeah,
one of my heroes, and it's so hard. I don't want to criticize dead Toriyama's writing.
Yes,
but
tough.
I know that he was the one who wrote this stuff, and it's just it is just kind of the same crap over and over and over again.
It's just so repetitive, and there's a great great line in this. Actually, probably the only good line in this episode.
This line summed up the episode.
Summed up the whole episode. When Vegeta says he fights the villains who stole his plane
again,
and then he and Piccolo defeat the guys in 3 seconds. Which, guess what? Anyone who's watching this show, even if you're a new person to the show, they're not going to stand a chance. So it's not even exciting to watch, to be honest. And then he says, "Wow. This didn't even serve to waste time."
Yes.
Talking about the fight. And I looked at Dan, I was like, wow, kind of like this episode.
Yeah.
It really didn't even serve well to waste the time. They could have just cut 30 minutes, 22 minutes, 20 minutes out, left the last 2.5 minutes with Majin Kuu, and sent him on his merry way.
This episode could have started
with Majin Kuu.
It should have.
Exactly.
It should have, because the last episode left off with the whole Boo thing where it's you created Boo, not Bibbidi, and all this stuff. And it's okay, a wheel is starting to turn. Start the episode there, and now take away the triumph of getting the Dragon Ball from our heroes and put them on a path towards actual adversity.
Yeah, it's frustrating because it's we sit here most of these days when we're not last episode was great, but we're talking about other scenarios we could have written out that might have been a little more exciting or interesting plot wise. What if Arinsu sent Majin Kuu out to test his new strength, right? Just test him out and say, but hey, go destroy King Kadan or whatever. And that would give us some kind of connection back to the people who are funding this journey in the first place or something. But
that would have been weird because
they're getting money from I know.
Exactly, because it's part of her plan, yeah.
But just saying that's the only demon tribe or people I know that are not ill-natured who we have any kind of connection to.
Or just immediately depose of Gomah.
Yeah.
And then do something with Dende.
Yes.
So now we're oh man, the characters don't know that Dende is been, I don't know, banished to the prison realm like Gojo in season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that.
JJK.
Where it's like, oh, we gotta do something even extra to get Dende, and nobody knows this except for the audience. So
it should have started with a bang, and Majin Kuu should have opened the show instead of ending it, and it probably should have had him show an obscene sense of force and destruction. You know, like that would have been the best way to open the show, I think.
Right. And the other weird thing is that this show calls out its own plot holes.
Yes.
Like there was the moment where Piccolo was like, I knew we should have brought Kibito because he can teleport anywhere. And Bulma's like, what? And it's like, okay, well, you've just negated the Hibis thing, the airplane being stolen thing, the completely pointless scene, and this is a recurring segment in the show now, which is just DK rants about dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like that whole 5 minutes of them just landing to tell them, like, we can't give you a ride. Sorry, we're gonna call King Kadan. He's gonna give you a plane. I felt the anger that Vegeta, Bulma, and Piccolo felt. It's like, why did we need this scene?
Yeah, like,
it was pointless as hell. And that was when you actually said, you looked at me and you're like, the writing on this show, DK, it's just bad.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, you have two groups of your main characters who you love and adore, and what makes them great is their interactions with each other, right?
Yes.
Especially the Goku-Vegeta dynamic, the Piccolo mediating between Goku and Vegeta half the time.
Right.
Like, that makes it worthwhile. That makes it fun to watch. The Bulma chiming into Goku/Vegeta as well. Like those interactions are what make Dragon Ball fantastic, Dragon Ball Z fantastic. I mean, this show, even in the intro song, they talk about, there's dialogue in the song that says thousands of hilarious jokes, you know? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that,
about that. And I'm like, yeah, now that we finally have them together, we can let the journey finally really start. But instead, they give us a 1 minute interlude where they sit there, they speak, like you just said, and then they part ways again. I'm like, dude, I was like, that's just not even cool. That's just not cool. That's just not fair.
The plane being stolen, dumb. Them landing just to tell them that they can't do it. I mean, it was a wasted opportunity to do a One Piece style story, which One Piece does all the time, where the characters get split up. They have, you know, different adventures that are related to like the big bad in some way, and then they all meet up at the end, and big battles all around ensue. It's like, now that has completely been missed, and maybe they'll do it again. But either way, having a scene where they meet up and then just taking that scene away immediately is just like, really, really dumb.
It's just
a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
Episode 9, we have 11 more episodes of this show, allegedly.
But now, let me make a little sandwich in here, okay? Sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
Let me make a little Oreo sandwich. I know we've been doing a lot of griping right now, but there was one really cool thing that I rather enjoyed was the Neon Club fight scene with Vegeta.
Oh yeah, the way that scene was animated, where all of the outlines of the characters were in neon and stuff like that.
That was cool.
It looked cool.
That was cool. That was a fun. I mean, like, we're just grabbing at straws here. Let's be real. We're grabbing for things.
We're taking any little ray of sunshine we can squeeze out of this show.
We really are. And that was cool because I don't think I've ever seen neon in Dragon Ball at all, basically, especially like a nightclub.
I've never seen a nightclub in Dragon Ball.
Very much, very reminiscent of like a Star Wars nightclub. I mean, this, like we said, this show definitely has a lot of similarities between Star Wars and their universe. But I think this was the most, straight pulled set besides the Tatooine bar scene in episode 1 or 2, when they first went to the first hotel, hostel, wherever they went. And this is cool. It was a cool little scene. I wish it was longer, maybe, or maybe there was some kind of plot dynamic, or maybe even a couple funny jokes when he picked up the food or the drink, and who knows, maybe gets drunk or something. I don't know.
Something, yeah. I mean, but you mentioned earlier too that the Vegeta fight wasn't exciting because we already know that he's going to be able to defeat the people. But it's actually worse than that. It's not exciting because we already saw him defeat the people in the nightclub. So it's like, okay. I mean, this show repeats itself from episode to episode. This might be the first instance where the show has repeated itself in episode.
Yes. So that was frustrating as well. So, I mean, thanks for taking that great moment from me, DK, and making me realize it was not a great moment.
No, it was. It was beautiful. I even commented like, okay, like this is cool. It's stylish. The strengths of Daima are the artistic team behind it. The people doing the backgrounds, the character designs, a lot of the fights and stuff like that. That is the strength of this show. Yeah, just in terms of the art, the show is top notch. I mean, there's so many little things that I see. There was the moment in that pointless scene where they meet up with the crew where it's Vegeta and Goku in profile, and the way that they're drawn in profile is reminiscent of like early Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Like with the curved forehead in that hyper specific way.
That was awesome.
The way that Vegeta's forehead kind of comes to a point down and stuff like that. Like you just notice all these little things and you're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's fun. But I mean, and also, I mean, you know, Toriyama made a correction in Dragon Ball Superhero that the anime, I guess, had gotten wrong for 30 years, which is that Piccolo's little bubble arm things are supposed to be yellow, not pink.
Really?
Yes. So that was a change in the design.
I didn't know that at all.
Whenever he did color panels of Piccolo's arms were yellow, not pink.
Oh, wow.
But in the anime, they were always pink, but in Superhero, that was corrected, and his arms are yellow in Daima.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're, you know, dumb like me and you pay attention to stupid stuff like this, you're like happy about all these little things.
I mean, I feel like a terrible fan because I didn't really notice that. I should have noticed that because that's always been something. I used to draw Piccolo growing up, like with the pink, but I didn't realize that the panels were supposed to be, he was supposed to be yellow.
I mean, you wouldn't really notice it typically. Yeah. I mean, because even like in the color panels for Goku in the original manga, it changes from red to blue. Yeah. Like between chapters. Like it's like red, it's blue, it's red, it's blue. Whereas the anime got it right. It's like, okay, he's blue up until the point where he becomes a student of Kame-Sennin, aka Master Roshi, and then it becomes red because that is the dogi of the Kame-Sennin
I thought it was orange. Orange, red? No.
Orange, you're right.
Orange, yeah.
It looked red on US television because the film had degraded, but it was
orange.
It was orange.
It's definitely, we know it's orange.
And it's orange in this show. It's like the most orange it has ever been. It's just like tangerine orange is key.
So let's just turn the page. I really don't have too much more to say except for
I don't either. This could be an early pod.
It's like I think 20 is good, but I do want to talk a little bit more about Majin Kuu. First impressions. We found out that it was made from a Cyberman as well as organic tissue of Majin Buu, as well as a host of other strong demons, evidently in the demon world. Yes. And we see this Majin Kuu, and he is more of a. He's not super tall. He does look like more of a. He has a kid Cyberman crossed with Kid Buu, crossed with
Piccolo,
and
crossed with a Kiwi from the Frieza Force.
Namek. Kiwi from Frieza. That's exactly who I thought of. I was like, who is the guy that got killed by Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z?
I think his name is Kui in the English version,
Kiwi.
Kiwi. Yeah, that's the
Kiwi.
First person that I thought of when I saw him. I was like, oh, that looks like Kiwi.
Yeah, so. It was a reminder. So if you haven't watched that pod, check out our Dragon Ball Z Frieza Saga podcast as well. Sorry, a little bit plug there.
We went through every episode from the arrival of Raditz all the way to the defeat of Frieza, just reliving the moments, going much more in depth on things behind the scenes. This is a reaction pod.
This is a reaction pod.
That was like a dissection pod.
So tell me, Majin Kuu, are you excited, or do we see a threat here? I think technically they made him Majin Kuu, or like a younger, like a Kid Buu form, because obviously Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, our heroes are in chibi form as well. So he's not like as short as them, but he's also not like the intimidating tall Buu you see in half of the Buu saga.
He's also not fat stupid Buu either.
Fat stupid Buu.
He's very intelligent right away, which is intriguing.
And thank goodness, by the way.
Yes.
Like actually, when he said the one line he said understood. And I was like, thank God he can talk and he's audible. Like that's a huge. I think that was like,
where's the pie?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, like
that would have been so funny. It's like, okay, now we have 5 potential malevolent plots. So it's like we have this going on, and then we just have this agent of chaos, which is Majin Kuu, just doing whatever he wants. Am I excited? I think that was your question. Yeah. I'm intrigued. I will wait to see where it goes. I kind of wanted his eyes to be black, like the old Buu with that thing, because there is something really sinister about that, like the black sort of like white of the eyes with like a red little pupil. It does look kind of sinister.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, but and also his voice is just very much like a normal voice. Yeah. He doesn't scream malevolence at the jump, but. They can control him, allegedly.
Well, I don't. You know what? So I don't think they can control him. I don't.
Well, they did say that.
I don't think they're gonna. For some reason, I saw we saw maybe like 10 frames of him, not much at all. Maybe like 100 frames of animation of them panning up on Majin Kuu, And you can kind of tell in his eyes. And this is actually one of the reasons why I think, having those black shark eyes, it's like in horses, it's tough because you can't really see their soul. I always like the other kind of anime eyes where they're big and expressive and you can kind of get a lot more from them. Is it less intimidating? Yes. But do I think it adds to an overall better character, in my opinion? Relatability for anime? Sure. But the point I'm trying to make is I think just from that little slight segment is that like you can see he's already fully formed. He already has a personality. He seems to be abiding by what they're saying, but at the same time, I think he's gonna do some cell stuff. He's gonna just go and do his own kind of vibe and see what he wants to do, conquer or not. I think this might be one of those situations where the bad guys have to turn around and rely on the Z fighters to save their lives.
Well,
that's Demon World.
That's what's intriguing because he said understood. He appears to be intelligent, but they did say right before we don't know if he'll be able to be controlled if we use Essence of Cyberman, which I feel like that's a Chekhov's Cyberman right there, where it's like, okay, well, if you're going to put that out there, then we're going to have a potential for this guy going out of control or doing his own thing. And then Arinsu's only purpose was to serve in the creation of him in some way, which isn't terrible. Because now he's got his own thing. He's an agent of chaos or whatever. But we'll see. But
it's funny. But it's funny, Dan. Just to add on there is that they mentioned that they can't control this episode. But remember, was it last episode? I think where they mentioned, hey, literally the last episode. Hey, we're gonna make this Boo so we can control him. Like the whole main point about making this new Boo, this Oob, this Majin Kuu was to have the ability to control him, unlike the original Majin Buu.
Yeah, the original Majin Buu couldn't be controlled. That was a huge sticking point last time, where it's like, it was a failure. It couldn't be controlled. But then in this episode,
they wound it up and then they unwound the whole thing.
They're like, here, let's put Cyberman in it. Although if we do it, he might not be able to be controlled. It's like, well, then why do it?
Yes.
Are you just telling us your plot hole again?
It's like, didn't we decide last episode as a team of bad witches that we're gonna get something we can control?
Right.
And then the next episode, we're just going to flip it over and say, screw that. Let's make a weird concoction that we can't control that could destroy the universe. What?
Yeah, like what ingredient does the Cybermen add to a Boo? Like character? Like seriously, like the Cybermen.
It could be Yamcha. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully Yamcha doesn't show up because then Kuu's just going to mow through him immediately. Right. But I mean, like what does it add other than it's like, oh, there's a thing that I remember. I remember the Cybermen. You remember the Cybermen? But it's like, if the only thing that it adds is that he goes out of control, and they said before that they wanted to control him, and they add it and it makes him go out of control, then this, ladies and gentlemen, will be even stupider than Gomah and Degasu sitting around watching the Boo fight.
Exactly.
This will be the most contrived, dumb thing. But we'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it goes. But you're right, DK. You're right here. Like we say, we like honesty. We don't like to pull punches. We just like to put it out there, especially as an initial reaction. So we haven't thought this through. But we have issues. There's some plot issues here, guys, and it's like come on, get us something a little bit tighter. I mean, if that's the final thoughts on this episode, which I think I really don't have anything more to say, is that just they could do a little bit tighter on their plotting and formations of the scenarios that's happening on the show. I'm just tired of this repetitive stuff, I'm worried that despite the order to go defeat Tamagami number 1, that we're not going to see that in the next episode, episode 10 titled Ocean. Maybe they're cleverly hiding it from us. Maybe there's going to be like a crazy battle in the next episode between Kuu and Tamagami 1, but I'm not. I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be 2 minutes at the end where Kuu's just going to be like, oh, by the way, I work for myself now. Yeah. Peace. I'm the king of the demon world. At least we saw Majin Kuu. Because after last week, we initially we think, okay, he might be back in 5 episodes. But they brought him back now, which does change. Okay, this is my last thought. This does change the dynamic of, is there going to be a season 2? We don't know. And having him pop up in episode 9, like a fully formed, cognizant Majin Buu form, it shows that maybe it only was meant to be a 40th anniversary kind of special, like a 1 year, 20 episode kind of run. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought
it's a possibility.
I thought that too. We were hyper fixated on the things that we were given early in the show, which is usually how story works. Or it's like you set up the story and then you're waiting to get it paid off. But maybe what this story is they go to the demon world and they fight Majin Kuu and they get the Dragon Balls and then they go back to the other world like nothing happened, and everything else was just misdirection and a waste of time just to get to that point. So I don't know. We'll see.
And it's like, is Majin Buu going to be stronger? I mean, is Kuu stronger than Buu? I honestly don't know. He's got. Doesn't Cyberman make you a little weaker? Like I think adding a Cyberman actually kind of takes away like your gravitas, because those guys, I mean,
you're gonna add a Raditz. I mean, do you think Cell would have been stronger if he had just added a Raditz to his repertoire?
I was like, dude, my guy Krillin could just destroy, all the Cybermen if he wanted to, Krillin.
He did, yeah.
And he did. He beat sweated all those guys in a minute. So like, hey, let's take and number one, how the hell did they get Cybermen if they came from the at least we know the Saiyans had Cybermen, right?
Yeah.
Do they come from the demon? Does every creature in Dragon Ball besides humans and Saiyans come from the demon world?
That's a question that we had watching the show, because we had this dog character which ended up just being a shapeshifter, but then later we had a horse character. Yes. So it's like, okay, so we know that the president of the world in Dragon Ball Z is a dog.
Yes.
We know that there are dog people. So it's like, is everybody in any position of power in the universe from the demon world? It's just like, oh, you're from the demon world? Here, you're president of the world now. Oh, you're the Kaio.
Oh, you're the Kaioshins. Oh,
yeah.
They stepped up big time.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna go from the demon world to controlling the universes. So
I'm just glad in this episode Kaioshin didn't say anything stupid, because I was waiting so hard for him to do something. But he didn't.
Okay. So
anyways, I feel like that's enough.
That's enough, and we're just hoping. I'm just saying my hopes for the next episode. I'm done like predicting because I don't know. My hope for this next episode, Dan, and you can put your hope after I do, but I just want to hope that the team gets back to. I don't want to see them apart anymore. I want to see Goku and Vegeta and Piccolo interacting again with Bulma. Like, I need that. I need that in my life too. So my hope is Majin Kuu does some devastation on the demon world and gives us some kind of stakes, if we can even get those in this world. And I hope the team gets back together and I hope they don't land in the ocean and are stranded in the ocean for an episode.
Okay, this would be my hope. This isn't what's going to happen, but this would be my hope. It would be that, because it was suggested in the episode, Goku was like, well, hey, we'll go on to Demon World number 2. Why don't you guys go kick Gomah's ass? Or something like that. Why don't you guys just go off, do your own thing? It would be cool if Goku, Glorio, and Pansy went to Demon World 2 and Goku got in a fight with Tamagami number 2. Vegeta, Piccolo, and Bulma go to Demon World number 1. And in the pursuit of Tamagami 1, they end up running into Kuu, and it turns into a whole fiasco.
So that'd be great. That would be awesome.
It's not going to happen.
But remember, guys, I know. Before we hit the ocean, our guys have to go into the zombie forest to recover the plane. So another classic JRPG trope.
That was a funny bit. Hyvis has got a lot of funny bits where he's like, "Hey, we could play the zombie game."
And what's with his third eye? What's with his little belt buckle eye? I don't get that.
Is that the eye that Gomah wants?
I don't know. That's a thing.
He found a living eye. So
his third eye.
Is it the one? Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, I think that's it. We actually had a lot more to talk about than I thought we would.
Yeah, but I was done 10 minutes ago, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, and this, and this."
So like that's what's good is we just kind of make our initial reactions and go from there. But I think that's it. I mean, I think that's it.
I've got one tiny quick shout out.
Yeah, let's get a shout out
to my buddy Tim, who got me this amazing Usagi Yojimbo figure, which will now decorate my bookshelf. Thank you so much.
Ninja Turtles.
This was great.
I had the other toy, the classic.
Oh, he's my favorite. Yeah,
he was cool.
Of all the Ninja Turtle adjacent stuff.
Yeah. So if you guys, we didn't plug anything in the beginning. Thank you for tuning in. If you stay to the end, send it to your friends, share it, put it on repeat, put it on play on our playlist. Keep that thing playing. We're trying to get those hours up. Let's make it successful. We're rocking and rolling here. But
and of course, subscribe.
Watch us on YouTube. If you're not watching, listen on Spotify. Sorry to be that guy who's like telling you to do this again, like everyone else on YouTube. But give us a like, give us a subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time on Dragon Ball Daima Pod.
All
right,
cool.
Yeah,
very tight.
minutes.
Very tight.